Hello Yappers and welcome back to the Yap Trap podcast. I am your host Jordan, and today's episode we are going to be doing a huge deep dive and recap of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives season 3. It is going to be such a juicy episode. I have so many pages of notes for us to get to. I do apologize because it's been a little while since I have done an episode, but I am back and I'm better than ever. I am so ready to do this episode. It's going to be such a juicy one because I just absolutely love Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and I am so excited to be talking about it. So before we get started, I do want to make a few things clear. This episode is not a critical analysis of the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I am actually coming at this as a fan of the show. So if you're a hater of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, I'm sorry, babe, but this is not the place for you. This is not the place for you. I'm sorry. This is not going to be a critical analysis. This is more so just going to be a recap of all of the drama that unfolded in season 3. So if that sounds like it's up your alley, then strap yourself in. It's going to be an excellent episode. While I recognize that the show definitely does contain some deeply problematic elements and really sensitive topics, and you know there is so many question marks around Mormonism and the Church of Latter-day Saints, and I'm not denying how many problematic elements there are to that, I am approaching this as someone who is a fan of the show. So please keep that in mind going forward. Like, I am a fan of this show. It's not going to be some in-depth critical analysis of the nuance of Mormonism and the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Okay, now that we've got that out of the way, then let's get into it. This episode will, of course, contain spoilers for season 3 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Additionally, a bit of a content warning as well. This episode will include discussions of sexual assault and other sensitive topics as they relate to the events of the show. So please take care while listening. And if that is not for you, then totally understand. I will catch you in the next video. Okay, let's do a bit of a background going into season 3. Mum talk is back. Damaging revelations and allegations threaten its future. The members face a crisis of friendship as loyalties shift, trust is tested, and the lines between fact and fiction blur. When the pursuit of truth calls character into question, a war over morality begins, and a clash between mum talk and dad talk erupts. With their sisterhood and everything that they've built hanging in the balance, can these women find a path towards salvation, or will their collective sins destroy mum talk? And most importantly, will mum talk survive this?
Mom talk is at its lowest point right now.
Jen has been gone to focus on her mental health, and Whitney and Demi are not to be trusted.
I'm gonna start my own mom talk.
I'm sorry.
Oh, Lordy.
Demi is absolutely disgusting and so calculated.
I know what you did.
If there's one thing we're good at, it's getting to the bottom of a scandal.
Oh my God.
Marciano told me that you guys had sex.
Oh my.
When this airs, it's all going public.
That's why in the church they don't like you to drink, because things like these happen.
Let's get into it. Okay, so starting off in episode 1 of season 3 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, first things first, I was so confused by the timing of this because I have actually done an episode recapping season 2 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives and the season 2 reunion. So please go back and listen to that if you want a bit of a catch up on what happened in season 2. I'll leave it linked below, of course. However, after all of that, where we're at in the season 2 reunion, this season 3 actually starts filming quite a while before they even film the season 2 reunion. So at the start of season 3, season 2 hadn't even aired yet. And I think that actually makes things a little bit confusing timeline wise because they haven't had the ramifications of season 2 even being released. So it feels like we're in the past. As well, it's quite strange because, you know, we have Macy, Michaela, and Jen, who are all now well and truly postpartum. At this point, they are quite pregnant. So it is quite of a strange timeline, and I really thought that it would make more sense chronologically if season 3 started filming right after the season 2 reunion, but instead it's like the season is kind of split in 2 parts almost, or not really, but it feels like the season's almost like before season 2 came out, press run of season 2, aftermath of season 2 coming out, and it's just a bit strange. So I do find it weird that they filmed so far in the past, because it just felt like so much has happened in Mum Talk, and then we're launching season 3 and it's like so long ago. We open right in the thick of the mess. Demi versus Jessi, and Demi is out of Mum Talk. And this is really interesting because, like I said, season 2 had not aired yet at this point, but apparently during contract negotiations, Demi actually asked for more money and they were not going to give her more money. And so she was like, I'm out. I'm not coming back. So that's quite strange to start off with. We also find out that Taylor is going on a 2-week mental health retreat to break her toxic cycles. So Taylor's also not in this first episode of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives as well, which again, it's like, why did they start filming at this point? Why not just have a couple weeks break and then start filming? I don't really understand it. Whitney has also left Mum Talk. So we're really dwindling down in the numbers. So during contract renegotiations, she allegedly asked for TV roles. She wanted to be on another TV show and then apparently asked for tickets for the Grammys or the Oscars or something. And that's why she is not on the show. Jen is also not yet back on the show yet because she is still taking a break while she was dealing with prenatal depression and kind of healing from some of the mental health issues she explored during season 2. So we are missing Jen, Taylor, Demi, and Whitney. I'm sorry, arguably the 4 most entertaining people on this show. I'm not saying that they're like the least problematic because they are obviously like, we are gonna get into Demi. Don't even get me started. But they are very, very entertaining. So where that leads us is we are getting a lot about Layla and Jessi. So Layla actually confronts Jessi because if you cast your mind back to the end of season 2, the big season 2 cliffhanger is Marciano and Layla having this random meeting where Marciano says to Layla, yeah, like Jessi and I slept together and there's this whole thing and Demi's involved, and we were like, what is going on? So Layla basically confronts Jessi, saying that Marciano spilled the fact that he and Jessi had an affair, and Jessi does confirm, yes, there was something, and you can tell she is like, oh my gosh, my affair is about to be on national TV. And it turns out that this is actually something that she didn't want to share on TV, and that Jessi and her husband Jordan were actually already separated at the time that this affair occurred, and Jordan has actually known about the whole Marciano situation for 6 months. However, Jessi insists that she and Marciano never slept together. Like, she vehemently denies that her and Marciano ever slept together. So they actually call Marciano on the phone and confront him, and he's kind of caught lying, but this is so weird because Marciano's talking about this night in this hotel room from his perspective. Basically, he and Jessi were in a hotel room. They kissed twice, and then he took some kind of pill, and then he was drunk, and then he fell asleep, and then when he woke up, there was stuff in his pants that made him think that they had slept together. So that's why he kept being like, yeah, we did sleep together. My pants, there was yuck. And then Jessi's like, no, we did not sleep together. You fell asleep. But yeah.
I was told that Marciano and Jessi have been having an affair.
I'll tell you the truth. When this airs, it's all going public.
So this is just very embarrassing for both parties involved. This is just very, very embarrassing, very, very messy. Yeah, it's a bit of a hard watch, to be honest. So Jordan and Jessi talk after this, and Jessi basically says, so yeah, the affair is going to be on the next season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, baby. And this, again, Jordan is very uncomfortable by this. Jordan has known about this affair for 6 months, but had wanted to keep it under wraps. And so by this affair coming to light, Jordan feels very embarrassed, and he keeps using the term emasculated. He feels so emasculated that his wife had an affair on him. And so Jordan then tells Dakota about what's going on and confides in Dakota and breaks down a little bit. And then Jessi, now that Jessi kind of knows that this is going to be in the next season, she starts to tell the rest of Mum Talk. So she tells Macy and Michaela, and they are completely shocked, and they are, trying to be supportive. You can tell they're judging a little bit for sure. I think they're just so shocked because in season 2, it seemed like there was something flirtatious between Demi and Marciano. So I think the fact that it was actually Jessi and Marciano, they're like, what is going on? Then we have Layla's birthday dinner, and rumors are flying around that someone is leaking what is happening to Demi, because apparently Demi is starting to spread some things about Jessi and Marciano. So they think that there's a mole in Mum Talk. And Paul Miranda is just sitting there clueless. She's not even officially a part of Mum Talk yet. They haven't formally said that she's a part of Mum Talk. She's kind of still in limbo. And I actually really like Miranda. I think she's really sweet. But yeah, she has no idea what's going on because they're not telling her anything. And then we get to Layla's birthday party. And then drama kicks off, of course. So basically, Chase, who is Miranda's ex-husband and also the person during the whole swinging scandal that Taylor had a bit of a fling with, shows up. And Mum Talk hates Chase. Basically, Chase has a podcast, and part of his podcast is he basically just slags off Mum Talk. He's Miranda's ex-husband. Him and Taylor have history. I believe him and Layla even have a history as well. I think he and Layla dated. It's all very incestuous. And also, Chase is the one during season 2 that quote unquote shoved Jessi, that quote unquote shoved Demi during the Halloween party. So if we cast our minds back to season 2, they're at the Halloween party. Chase like kind of pokes Demi, and Demi's like, oh my gosh, he just put his hands on me. And she like goes running to Brett and she's like, oh my God, he just put his hands on me. Caused a fight. Anywho. That was the whole thing. So Chase rocks up and Macy and Michaela are furious because he trash talked them on his podcast. So they are really not happy. However, Layla is chill with him. And we kind of find out why Layla is chill with him a bit later on. Basically, Layla is dating his brother, Mason. So I think Layla dated Chase and then now Layla is dating Mason. So she's like, yeah, well, of course they're going to be at my birthday party. However, Macy feels really disrespected because Macy's like, why would you have this man here? And a lot of people were saying in the first few episodes of season 3 that they really felt like Macy and Michaela, that they saw a new side of them and they were starting to see them as a lot more mean girls because Macy was just not having it. And to that I say, I do kind of see what people mean because they did feel a lot more like in previous seasons. Macy always felt really sweet. I will say in season 2, Michaela was definitely quite harsh. However, this season, they're definitely just not putting up with bullshit. And I think that is also because like they are heavily pregnant here. Like they are about 8 months pregnant at this point. So I think people are being a little harsh on them. So yeah, Macy snaps and she leaves, and that's where episode 1 ends. That brings us to episode 2. Taylor is back, my queen, Taylor Frankie Paul. Thank you so much. Like at the moment Taylor comes back, it immediately gets better. Like, I'm so sorry. Episode 1 was a little bit weak. I genuinely feel like they could have just scrapped episode 1 and started from episode 2. I don't know why you would start the show without Taylor. Like, she is the star of the show. I'm sorry. She is. She is back fresh from her 2 weeks of therapy, and she, Loki does seem like a bit of a changed woman. Like, she seems so mature and so worldly, and she really seems like she wants to make changes to her behavior. And we open with a conversation between her and Dakota, and they are discussing custody, and she just seems to be approaching the conversation in such a mature way. And Dakota fills her in on the whole Jessi, Marciano, Jordan situation, and Taylor is shocked. Taylor's like, wait, Jessi had an affair with Marciano? Like, Taylor is completely shocked. So yeah, it seems like everyone really just did not expect this at all. So Jessi also reveals in this episode that there was actually emotional abuse in her marriage, and this is kind of what pushed her into having an emotional and somewhat physical affair with Marciano. Basically, like, her and Jordan had not been happy for a long, long time, and she was almost looking for, not an out per se, but she was really not happy in her marriage because Jordan was so emotionally abusive to her, and that is why she kind of sought out Marciano. We then have Michaela's Irish themed birthday party, and what is absolutely insane to me is that Michaela's turning 25. She 3 children, pregnant with her 4th, and she's 25. Oh my gosh, it's crazy to me. But basically at Michaela's birthday party, Layla kind of makes up with the group and says, I'm sorry that you guys didn't really like that I invited Chase, and they all make up, whatever. At this party, it's actually so uncomfortable. So we kind of know that Jordan and Jessi are having issues. Like, they're kind of grappling with the fact that this affair is going to be public. And yeah, they're just kind of like, what's that going to look like? They're kind of, they've basically decided that they're going to have a bit of a separation. So they're doing a 90-day separation where they're going to trial being separated and only kind of talk about their marriage in the context of therapy. However, Jordan is involved in dad talk. Jordan is in this business. So Jordan keeps coming to all of these events. So Jordan is at Michaela's birthday, and at this birthday party, Jessi is surrounded by the girls and she is reading out her dirty text messages with Marciano. And I say dirty, like, they're not like crazy, but they're pretty salacious, and she's reading out these text messages, and Jordan is sitting like right there, and you can see him, he's like side-eyeing, like, what is going on? And even the other girls that are listening to this, they're a bit uncomfortable as well. But basically in these text messages, Jessi's trying to prove that she didn't sleep with Marciano, because that's the big question. Did she or did she not sleep with Marciano? Because she always told Jordan, yes, I had an affair, I had an emotional affair, we kissed twice, we did not sleep together. So now that Marciano is saying that they slept together, this is creating a lot of issues for her narrative. So she's like, I didn't sleep with him. She's trying to prove it. She's reading out all of these text messages to the girls while Jordan is right there. It's very uncomfortable. And I'm like, do you really want to get back with this man? Like, are you... I don't know. Jen and Zach move back to Utah as well, and Jen decides to reintegrate with Mum Talk, and you can tell that Zach is definitely a little bit hesitant about this, and he's kind of confused because he's like, you know, these women treated you so terribly when you were going through your prenatal depression, and now you're so keen to get back into this. And it's kind of like, I really like Jen, but it's like, yeah, babe, this is a very lucrative business. Of course she wants to get back to the money bags. Of course she does. Are you joking me? Of course she wants to be part of Mum Talk and the reality TV show. This is very lucrative. This is where it gets like a little bit random and ridiculous. But basically, Macy and Michaela decide that they're going to confront Marciano and find out the truth as to what actually happened and if Marciano and Jessi slept together. And it's really funny because they decide to meet up with Marciano at a location that's like 3 hours away, which is also just like, why are they doing this? I have to say, I was actually getting so sick of seeing Marciano on my screen this season. I'm sorry, is this the secret life of Marciano? Because I do not care about Marciano. I do not care about Vanderpump Villa. I just want to see the Mormon Wives. They have enough drama. I do not need to see Marciano. Like, it's so clear he is so desperate for his 5 minutes of fame. Because, like, why would you agree to this? Anyway, Marciano, of course, is, like, desperate, to be on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So he agrees to meet up with Macy and Michaela at this random location, like 3 hours away from where they live. But it is actually funny them driving to this random location 3 hours away because they're both pregnant. So they're constantly stopping for snacks. They're constantly stopping to pee because they're both heavily pregnant. And Michaela literally pees on the side of the road, and because she can't hold it, like she literally can't hold it. So she's peeing on the side of the road, and they're literally filming this. It is really funny though.
To see you again.
Absolutely.
Marciano walks through the door. I feel like he's gotten a lot more Botox from the last time I saw him because he's looking extra shiny. He's got the lip gloss on.
So basically, they confront Marciano, and Marciano's story is that he and Demi did kiss during Vanderpump Villa. However, separate to that, he and Jessi went back to her hotel and kissed. He claims he woke up in boxers, but he did admit that he lied and that they didn't sleep together. He says he still has feelings for Jessi, but he claims he was influenced by Demi. Mic drop, like that is the end of episode 2. It's like he was being controlled and manipulated by Demi. End of the episode. Moving on to episode 3. So no one has still told Miranda what is going on. So Miranda actually has no idea because she is still close with Demi. She is totally unaware of the drama. However, Taylor is officially back. They kind of teased her coming back in during episode 2. From episode 3 onwards, she is fully back in, thank God. And same with Jen and Zach. And Jordan tells Zach about the affair as well. So there is an influencer event, and Layla and Miranda attend, and Demi shows up. So awkward. And Layla actually confronts Demi about the Marciano situation. So basically, Layla is super uncomfortable because Layla is very team Jessi. However, I don't think Demi realizes this. So when Demi gets there, she goes to give Layla a hug, and Layla's like, I know what you did. And Demi's like, what the hell? Why aren't you hugging me? And it's so awkward. But basically, Layla confronts Demi about the whole Marciano situation. And Demi denies everything and flips it back on Layla and actually starts to raise her voice. And it's really concerning how Demi deals with any kind of confrontation. Like, Demi just instantly flips the script. So she is able to just really double down on stuff and just really come at the person that she's having a conversation with. And she does that to Layla. And Layla asks why Demi was messaging Marciano constantly if she wanted nothing to do with him. Because this is the whole conspiracy now, is like, okay, is Demi influencing Marciano? So Layla kind of confronts her for that. And Demi is like going through her text messages with Marciano. She's like, no, let me find the text message. She's like scrolling. Like, she's got so many messages with Marciano. It's sus as. Anyway, it's this whole situation.
My friend or Marciano's friend? I'm not Marciano's friend. I'm Jessi's friend.
And you're not my friend? from what I heard, I don't want to be your friend. Why are you being so bitchy to me right now, though? Instead of having a...
And Miranda is the only one that's acting professional at this event. I really like Miranda. I really like Miranda. Justice for Miranda. And at this event, while Layla is confronting Demi, she thinks it's a good idea to just call Jessi. Just call Jessi while she's with Demi. Layla, what are you thinking? Why would you do that? Why would you like put Jessi on the spot like that? So she literally calls Jessi. Jessi answers and Layla's like, hey, you're on speaker. I'm with Demi. What the fuck, Layla? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Jessi feels completely blindsided and hangs up, understandably so. Like, I just don't know why Layla would do that. And then Demi just like pops off and Demi threatens to go live and expose Jessi. And she is behaving so toxically. Like, she's screaming at Layla from across the car park. She's like, I'm gonna go live. I'm exposing everything. And Layla's like, you're crazy. Like, and then I believe one of the producers from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives went and talked Demi down from doing that. But Demi was fully going to go live. So that whole thing was crazy. Outside of that, there is a little mini girls trip and they finally vote on whether Miranda is going to be a part of Mum Talk, and they agree that Miranda is officially in Mum Talk. Thank God. I really like Miranda. I think she deserves to be there, and I really hope that we get to see more of her personality as the seasons go on.
This is going to come as a shock, but I do think the qualities that Miranda has are qualities that we need in Mom Talk. She can stay calm, and when she's done wrong, she'll sit there and she'll listen and she'll be like, you're right, like I shouldn't have done that. So yeah, there's a soft spot there.
I feel like Miranda should be back in.
Yes.
100%. I feel like at this point, yeah.
Welcome back to Mom Talk.
So Jessi decides that she needs answers from Marciano. Oh my gosh, I am so sick of Marciano. Like, but why does she need answers from Marciano? I just don't get it. And everyone, especially Taylor, is like, this is a terrible idea. Why do you need answers from Marciano? Why do you need to meet up with Marciano? I agree. But of course, Jessi cannot be, she cannot be swayed. So Jessi meets Marciano in her room. So they're on this girls trip. Marciano comes to her room and he's holding flowers. It's so cringe. And he's just so desperate for screen time. Like, you can tell he's gotten his face done. Like, his brows are snatched. He looks all Botoxed up. Like, he is so ready for his Secret Lives of Mormon Wives screen time. And he's just giving me slimy vibes, honestly.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good. Oh my God. You got me flowers?
Yeah, why not? Wow, they match your outfit too.
I know. Look, how did you know?
I know.
Wow, that was so nice of you. Thank you. So how are you? How have you been?
Oh, same old, I guess. No complaints.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
My life's been like,
Yeah.
I don't know. A lot has happened. Jordan and I were trying to work through it. And then we actually separated.
Oh, okay.
So it was just a lot.
Basically, Michaela and Macy contact a polygraph testing person, and they're going to have Jessi and Marciano conduct a polygraph test, aka a lie detector, which the thing is like, polygraphs are literally non-admissible evidence, like in the court of law. Thank you so much. I know that from true crime. But it's just basically like, polygraphs are not that accurate. With this polygraph, this is their single source of truth. They are like, this polygraph is going to prove everything. And it's like, they get this woman in who's apparently some big hotshot legit polygrapher, and they do this polygraph test, and Jessi invites Marciano to dinner with the girls afterwards, while they get the results, which I'm like, why would you do that? Why are you bringing him back in? It's like, I thought. So basically, Jessi made it seem like, despite everything with her husband, despite the separation, despite the cheating, despite the emotional abuse, that she wanted to make it work with Jordan. Why are you doing this? Anyway, that is the end of episode 3. Episode 4. Jessi opens up even more to the girls about the dynamic with Jordan, and they really rally around her. So she really opens up and says that she's been dealing with a lot of emotional abuse, and of course the girls are so supportive. And Jessi goes home to Jordan, seeing Jordan for the first time after the whole Marciano situation, and there is a huge fight. And I'm like, the fact that the cameras are here for this and that they are doing this in front of the cameras is crazy to me. Like, sure, you've got like someone standing in front of you with a huge camera, and Jordan is screaming at Jessi, and he just proves everything that she just said. Jordan snaps. He calls her disgusting and saying that she deserves to be yelled at. It's just absolutely foul behavior, because like, Jessi is just sitting there like on the couch, just or are they in their bed? I don't know where they are, but she's just sitting there absolutely copping it. She's just like, oh, I'm sorry. I know. Like, you know, and then he's like, you're disgusting. What is our son going to think? You've done this to us. It is vile, the things that he says to her. And this is with a camera crew in the room. I could not imagine what he's like when there's not a camera crew there.
I'm going to be honest with our kids.
You're going to be honest with him that you disrespected their dad and you decided to go to dinner with the guy you had an affair with?
I'm
it's because you're
mistakes. I don't think that was a mistake.
It was a mistake. Then you need help.
So another storyline that we get this episode is that Layla's hair is falling out. So she has been going to Jessi or Jay-Z Styles to get her hair done. However, basically she realizes that Jessi is not the right person to be styling her hair because obviously Layla is a different ethnicity to what Jessi is used to styling, and the way that Jessi styles her hair is just not right. Then we have an MCO beauty event, and Jen reunites with Mum Talk at this event. So Jen is officially back at this event, and she wants an apology from Jessi because the last time Jen was in with the group, Jessi was really nasty to her, and also this was when Jessi and Demi were besties, and Jessi was ganging up on Jen with Demi. Jessi does apologize immediately. It is a sweet moment, but I do think that Jessi kind of gets off here quite scot-free. Like, you know, because Demi is essentially the supervillain, Jessi kind of manages to not really basically, Jessie's able to really turn it around and really get a lot of sympathy this season, which I find interesting. Jordan goes crying to Dad Talk and basically tells Dad Talk what's going on in his marriage. Zach, to no surprise, is completely Team Jordan and basically anti-women, being like, I can't believe these women treat their husbands like this. Like, oh, whatever, Zach. We then get a really nice scene where Layla and Jessi are together, and Jessi's like, hey, did you get your hair done? Like, I can see. And Layla's like, yeah, I actually went to a black hairstylist. And Jessi actually handles it really well. And I will say that this was a scene that made me really respect Jessi in her craft and what she does, because she's so interested. She wants to learn. She's like, oh, show me, how was it done? And Jessi really wants to understand how she can improve her own salon to cater for black hairstyles. So I actually really liked that.
Unfortunately, here in Utah, we don't have many black people or black stylists, and it's actually a big problem. Like, I think that, you know, like, I just didn't get the education in school, and that's something I want to learn more about. So I just want you to know, I never want you to feel like you have to hide that from me, because I understand it's not like you're like, Jessi, it's like, no, like, your hair needs to be treated differently, and I want that for you.
I didn't realize that ethnic hair needed to be treated differently. But I feel like this is kind of just like a step of me starting to like embrace my other side of myself.
Jordan then decides to host a barbecue with Mum Talk and Dad Talk minus Jessi, so that basically he can share his point of view, which at Jessi's house, mind you, that she bought, that he lives in. Anyway, so basically both sides kind of go back and forth. They all kind of agree that Jessi going to dinner with Marciano was not okay. However, on the flip side, Jordan's disrespect and Jordan's treatment of Jessi is also not okay. So the girls really rally around, even though Jessi's not there, they say the way you treat her is not okay. And he does acknowledge that, you know, he needs to do better, but I don't know, it's a whole thing. It's really bizarre, the fact that they did that.
I'm just saying that if the roles were reversed, I think you guys wouldn't be okay with it.
But
it's not okay. And also, I have a really hard time when you're like boxing out and all this for her.
if Jordan wants me and the Mom Talk girls on his side, he is going about this whole situation the wrong way.
Episode 5, Dancing with the Stars. Taylor tells the group that one of them is going to be on Dancing with the Stars, and they are going to be like essentially auditioning to go on Dancing with the Stars. Michaela also opens up to Macy about her sexual trauma, and she kind of touches on the fact that her and her husband Jace are actually experiencing intimacy issues that have kind of stemmed from her sexual trauma as a child. And finally, Whitney returns. My queen, Whitney. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Whitney is my favorite. Whitney is my favorite. And that is, if you're watching this on YouTube, I am wearing a large golden sequin headband because I'm trying to channel Queen Whitney, because Whitney always loves rocking a fuck ass headband. So I'm trying to channel Whitney right now with my look, and finally she is back. Like, thank God, Whitney, we missed you. Thank you so much for coming back. And during her confessional, she denies asking for Oscar tickets during contract talks, but she does admit that she wanted to be on on a scripted show, queen behavior. And she fully admits she is only back for Dancing with the Stars. So they are at another influencer event and Demi appears, and it's crazy. Like pretty much all of Mom Talk is there. Demi appears and Demi tries to approach. Basically the girls aren't having it. Taylor is just kind of like, no, this is not happening. And then Jessi and Demi are yelling at each other across the room, and it gets pretty toxic. Like they are literally screaming at each other across the room, and Demi does this like vile gesture and she's like, how was it like fucking Marciano or something like that? It's just absolutely vile. Like Demi is such a vicious person, and I don't mean like physically, I just mean like she is so vicious with her words. Like she just goes on the attack. Like it's really, really nasty. She really is such a bully. It's then Miranda's birthday and Layla arrives and brings her boyfriend Mason, who is Chase's brother, of course. And then Whitney arrives and it's super awkward because all of the girls don't feel comfortable with Whitney, and they know that she's only back for Dancing with the Stars. And Jen and Whitney have a bit of a confrontation, and Jen basically accuses Whitney of using her to stay connected to Mum Talk, and basically says that like, how could you befriend Demi after everything that she did to me, and you were there for me, but then you went and befriended Demi. And Whitney kind of stands up for herself and is like, I felt really like isolated from the group. I felt like I wasn't really included in the group, which is true. Like they invited Whitney back into Mum Talk, but there was a lot of animosity there. So all of the girls, minus Whitney and Demi, basically have a meeting at Taylor's house to discuss the state of Mum Talk. And they know that Whitney is only there for Dancing with the Stars. And this is when they formally recognize Taylor as the leader of Mum Talk. And I mean, writing was on the wall. Taylor is obviously the leader of Mum Talk. She is the reason Mum Talk exists. So this is kind of them formally saying like, Taylor speaks for us. She is our leader. So Michaela does EMDR therapy on camera. So it's a new type of therapy that she's exploring to heal from her sexual trauma, and this is extremely vulnerable. And again, I'm just very surprised that they include this on camera. It just seems like a lot to include on camera, and so I'm really surprised that they had the cameras in there while she's going through this therapy talking about her sexual trauma. And the therapist recommends a sex therapist. So all of the girls meet up with Whitney. So Whitney is basically like, well, to me, Mum Talk is a business. This is work. This is not a friendship. And I kind of understand what Whitney's saying, because she hasn't been the most welcomed member of the group, TBH. And so for her, she's like, well, obviously, like, I'm still in Mum Talk. I'm still going to treat it like a business, because it's a very lucrative business. As I've said, like, they're there to get their check. And so Whitney's just kind of like, well, I'm taking out, the sisterhood and the friendship, and I'm just here as a business. But part of that does kind of like negate the whole point of Mum Talk, because they always say that Mum Talk is a sisterhood and Mum Talk is empowerment and Mum Talk is like female empowerment. So I don't know. It's kind of contradictory, but whatever. I kind of understand what she's coming for. She admits to Taylor that she is only back for Dancing with the Stars. Like fully admits to it.
I'm filming because I was offered the opportunity to audition.
Whitney then says she is starting her own Mum Talk, and the girls basically laugh her out of the room, and Whitney just gets up and leaves. It's funny, but it's kind of awkward.
Because I'm gonna start my own Mom Talk, and hopefully,
yeah. Anyway, moving on to episode 6, the girls go to LA for press for the new season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, which in this timeline still has not come out. It is still, season 2 has still yet to air when we're up to episode 6 of season 3. Crazy. And they're also doing their Dancing with the Stars auditions. Marciano and Demi are getting into a fight online. So basically, Demi posts an Instagram story where she accuses Marciano of being a sexual predator. And during hair and makeup for the press, Demi shows up, because the thing is, Demi is part of season 2. So she's part of all the press, and she shows up. She's finally gets her first confessional. Like she's finally kind of like, she's been in a few scenes on the show, but she's not been fully integrated into the show. But now she's like back in the show, basically. So she says that she's here to set the record straight. Whitney arrives fully glammed, and she is ready. Ballroom hair, like she is so ready to get Dancing with the Stars. Watching this episode, it is so obvious why Whitney did end up being on Dancing with the Stars. However, Demi is trashing Jessi, basically saying that all of the girls in Mom Talk are victim blaming her because Demi is a victim of sexual assault. She accuses Marciano of sexual assault and is saying that the girls are victim blaming her. And she basically tries to emotionally manipulate Macy by comparing their situations. So Macy was actually in a very highly abusive relationship in the past, and it was physical and emotional abuse. And she basically, Demi tries to compare her situation to Macy. It does not land very well, and it just feels so insensitive and so inappropriate. And this is just really further what I just don't know what is going on in Demi's mind, how she thinks that she can compare her situation with Macy's situation. It just doesn't make sense. Anyway, the Dancing with the Stars interviews happen. Of course, Whitney absolutely kills it. We already know that Whitney and Jen are the ones that are successful in getting Dancing with the Stars because all of this season is filmed so far in the past. So we already know that it was Whitney and Jen. Anyway, so there is also a Hulu event, and it kind of brings together all of the reality stars from the Hulu network, and the Kardashians are there, and Scott Disick and Khloe Kardashian are actually fans of the show. So Taylor has a heart-to-heart with Whitney, and they kind of try smoothing things over, and things seem to be okay with them. And Jessi meets up with Demi, basically to attempt closure. And Demi refuses to take accountability. Like, at this meeting, Jessi asks, if Demi was sexually assaulted by Marciano, why did Demi, during her text exchanges with Marciano, send him photos of her child? Demi has said that she's been sexually assaulted by Marciano, but it comes out that she allowed Marciano and her child to FaceTime, and that, you know, that her child had a nickname for Marciano, and it just seems to be a bit strange. And then Demi is like, Jessi, you're victim shaming. And this is Demi's new favorite line. Like, every time someone tries to do anything or ask her anything, she's like, you're victim shaming. Like, you don't know how you would react in that situation. You're victim shaming. Anyway, on to episode 7, and that is Stagecoach. So the group heads to the country music festival Stagecoach, and they have this huge house. So this is where Demi posts more Instagram stories alleging that Marciano sexually assaulted her. So originally she said that he was a sexual predator, but now she's fully come out on her stories and has said that he sexually assaulted her. Now, on top of this, while the girls are at this music festival, so all of the girls are staying at this house together, aside from Demi and Whitney. Demi's not coming at all. Whitney is coming later on to film content, and Jen is also coming, but she is stuck. She's on her way. She's sick. I don't know, her car broke down or something like that. Anyway, Lana Del Rey messages Michaela and is basically like, I'm a huge fan of the show. I know you guys are here, like, let's meet. And it's so funny because, like, there's literally a clip of Lana Del Rey meeting the girls at Stagecoach, and Lana Del Rey's like, so what's the tea with Whitney? Like, do you guys actually hate each other? And it's just so funny that Lana Del Rey's like, oh my God, give me the tea. And the thing is that Lana Del Rey's like, what's going on with Whitney? And they're like, oh, just wait till you see season 2. So even still, we are now in episode 7 of season 3, and season 2 has still not come out where they are up to. It's crazy.
Oh, she's the villain for sure. Yeah, well, no, it's real. Wait till you see season 2. Yeah.
Meeting Lana is incredible.
So we get to hear a little bit more about the intimacy issues between Michaela and Jace. This storyline is a little bit challenging to watch because we know that Michaela has experienced sexual abuse in her childhood, and therefore, understandably so, as a result, is now experiencing intimacy issues as an adult. She got pregnant at 16, and I believe she was married shortly after that. So being pregnant and married at such a young age, it's no wonder that she's not really healed from her trauma. And so she's bringing up these intimacy issues that she's having, and Jace basically says that no intimacy is a deal breaker to him. And it does feel quite insensitive because it's like, are you that desperate for sex that, like, you can't understand that your wife, who was sexually abused as a child, is struggling? Taylor and Dakota rekindle their relationship at Stagecoach. Like, obviously the drinks are flowing, the vibes are flowing, and basically they sleep together at Stagecoach.
No, yes, we had sex, like, obviously.
Whitney then shows up because they are contractually obliged to film some content for a brand, and Whitney needs to film that content too. Like, it's literally a contract that they're obliged to fulfill. And so Whitney rocks up with this, like, Rugrats looking hair. Like, she's got these, like, 2 braids. It looks so random, but I kind of love that for her. Like, that is so Whitney. And it's very awkward. Basically, Taylor tells Whitney that the girls are quite upset with her because she is supporting Demi in this whole situation, and Demi has basically made it seem like online that the other girls in Mum Talk are victim shaming her. So the other girls are quite hurt and don't really want to be around Whitney. They argue, it's awkward, whatever, they get the content. Following Jace and Michaela's intimacy issues being brought up, Jace is quite cold towards Michaela after that. It's very awkward, and a lot of the people in the group are even saying like they've never really seen Michaela and Jace fight like this before, so it's quite awkward. And he just kind of starts drinking. He gets up on the stripper pole and he's just acting a bit crazy. So Michaela does open up about her intimacy guilt to Taylor and Macy, and the fact that she even feels guilty is crazy because, mind you, at this point in time she is heavily pregnant and she feels so guilty about not wanting to have intimate times with her husband constantly. It's like, Jace, can you calm down? Like, your wife is heavily pregnant. Like, stop pressuring her. No wonder she doesn't feel like it if you're constantly down her throat about it. Like, geez. And then Jace talks to Taylor and admits that he's jealous because Taylor and Dakota have this like sexual chemistry and like they always want to jump each other's bones, and he and Michaela don't have that. And Taylor's like, you and Michaela have a strong marriage and 3 beautiful children with a 4th child on the way. I would rather have what you have. And I'm like, thank you, Taylor, for clocking that. So Jordan and Jessi do seem to be doing a bit better after Stagecoach, and they are driving home together after Stagecoach. And Jordan actually reveals to Jessi that Dakota flirted with Taylor's mum's friend / Taylor's very close family friend while he and Taylor were on a break while Taylor was pregnant with their child. Mic drop. Crazy. End of the episode. Episode 8. Taylor and Dakota are all loved up. She told him that she loves him. And then finally, season 2 reunion footage. So we are finally at a point where season 2 has come out. They're filming the season. No, I don't even think season 2 has come out basically, but they are filming the season 2 reunion. Whitney and Connor did feel quite attacked at the reunion, and honestly can't blame them. The season 2 reunion, the host definitely went very harsh on Whitney, so I don't blame them for that. Michaela and Jace go to couples therapy on cameras, and Jace basically says that if it were up to him, he and Michaela would have sex 3 times a day. 3 times a day. He says that while she is sitting right beside him. She's a victim of sexual abuse and already feels so much pressure, and he's saying like, oh, if it were up to me, I'd have it 3 times a day. Bro, she's pregnant. She's heavily pregnant. So there is also a moment in this episode where Macy talks about pride and allyship, and she says that one of her husband Jacob's cousins has just come out, and this is really challenging because in Utah there is a lot of homophobia, and the university that all of them go to, which is BYU, actually is very Mormon and has a lot of quite homophobic rules. And so Macy feels that it's really important to show that she's an ally for the LGBTIQ plus community. So I do quite like that they included that, and she puts up a little flag in front of her house, a pride flag. So I think that's a sweet moment as well. And I'm glad that, although the thing is, it's hard because it's like she is still an active practicing member of the church. So it's like, is she complicit in the church's belief? She outright says, I do not agree with the church's stance on gay people. However, she's still a practicing Mormon. So it's kind of like she's still complicit. So I don't know. It's definitely in the gray area for sure. Jen is super excited for Dancing with the Stars. So obviously now they all know that Jen and Whitney are the ones that are going to be on Dancing with the Stars. And so she goes to rehearsals while she's literally like 8 or 9 months pregnant. And she looks so happy. She's so excited to be going on Dancing with the Stars. It's really sweet. And the person that she's practicing with is, her dancing partner is Ezra, who I believe is one of the pros on Dancing with the Stars. I don't actually watch Dancing with the Stars, or I didn't before I kind of watched this season on TikTok. So I'm not super familiar with it, but this guy Ezra, he is ex-Mormon, he's gay, and Jen is super supportive of him. And it's really nice to kind of hear from his perspective what it was like, the fact that when he was in dance as a child and his parents found out he was gay, his parents pulled him out of dance because they thought that dancing was making him gay. And it's so sad hearing his story, but basically what ended up happening was that his parents parents, did come around to support him, and his whole family actually left the church because they didn't want to be a part of a church that didn't support their son. And I think that's really lovely. So Taylor and Dakota do a family photo shoot with their child Eva, and Dakota still has not confessed to Taylor about the whole family friend flirting situation. Whitney meets up with Demi because after the reunion, Whitney's now starting to kind of backtrack on her support of Demi. So up to this point, Whitney and Demi have been close. And this is my one thing, like, I love Whitney, but I'm like, girl, how can you be supportive of Demi after, like, you see the way that she speaks to the other women? I just don't understand. Whatever. But after the reunion, Whitney is now starting to have some questions. And of course, when her and Whitney meet up, Demi, of course, dismisses everything and claims that Brett, her husband, knew everything that was going on, which makes it okay. And after this, Whitney is reciting all of this to Connor. And I actually have to say, Connor, out of all of the dad talk husbands, Connor is by far my favorite. I love Connor. He just seems like to be so level-headed, so supportive. And Whitney is telling Connor about her meeting with Demi, and Connor actually challenges Demi's story and supports Whitney. And Connor says, if you were sexually assaulted, and Connor is a victim of sexual assault as well, if you were sexually assaulted, why would you have your child anywhere near that person? With Demi sending photos of her child / FaceTiming with her child with Marciano. That is where Connor is really raising the question marks. The end of the episode is Taylor finding out the truth about Dakota plus her mum's friend / family friend, and Taylor is heartbroken because they had just reconciled. Taylor and Dakota literally had just reconciled. So the fact that she finds this out is absolutely heartbreaking. On to episode 9. So basically they are doing the press tour for season 2, and it's a very tense atmosphere, and it feels almost intentional that Dakota waited until right before Taylor was doing all of this press for season 2 to drop this bomb on her, because she's literally going into the biggest week in her entire career to date, and he decides to tell her the night before she goes. So that is just feels a bit convenient timing. So Taylor is super upset. And then, of course, cherry on top, Demi is there. And so it's a super awkward, super tense situation. So then the girls do an interview on Entertainment Tonight, and they have a full on-air fight. And Demi is just the queen of doubling down. She's like, I've done nothing wrong. I've done nothing wrong. I've done nothing wrong. You're all the problem. I'm not the problem. You're all the problem. And during this interview, Jen claims that Demi threatened her with a cease and desist. And Demi's like, pull it up then. And like they start fighting and it escalates. And Demi says that she is being held responsible for the actions of men, and that she is being held responsible for the for Chase and Marciano's actions. And so it's just a massive shitstorm. It is so messy, and Whitney is like, this is so embarrassing, this is so unprofessional. But meanwhile, I'm thinking like, yeah, it may be unprofessional, but Entertainment Tonight would be loving this. They'd be like, this is TV gold. Like, we scored with this interview.
I feel like I'm being held responsible for how Chase and Marciano have treated multiple people in this group.
Later on, Taylor tells her mum, Leanne, about what happened with Dakota and the family friend. And Leanne is absolutely furious, just so furious. In another scene, Whitney is getting her glam done with Miranda, and they are talking about Demi, and of course Demi walks in right at that moment, and Demi and Miranda actually have an argument about the season 2 shove situation. So as I said earlier in this episode, basically Chase, Miranda's ex-husband, at the Halloween party that was in season 2, kind of like poked Demi as he walked past her. I mean, it was condescending, it was rude, but he certainly didn't shove her or attack her. And Demi was like, he put his hands on me. And Miranda and Chase are separated. That is her ex-husband, but he is still the father of her children. And Miranda's basically calling Demi out on it, saying that he did not shove you. And Demi, again, she just will not back down. She will not. It is clear as day. It is on TV. There is literally, it was recorded. She's like, it was a shove. This is a shove. This is a shove. Like, oh my gosh, Demi just does not back down.
In that situation, it shouldn't matter. Why are you?
It does matter. It's always going to matter.
No, but why are you touching me at all? Period. The end.
Why didn't you come
Yes,
up
but
and
to
go,
me, a
where's
shove
Brett?
is so
But
different.
I never said shove in the moment. That's not
You
what
said shove
escalated.
yesterday. That versus a shove is so different. I don't know how you're not understanding
A
that.
shove is a shove. A shove could be this. A shove could be
Okay,
this.
so we're
Like,
back to it is being a shove.
Then afterwards, Miranda leaves and Demi gets on the phone to her husband, Brett. And Brett, you can just see why Demi and Brett are just in their little echo chamber of toxicity, because Brett straight away backs Demi up and is like, oh, Miranda's white trash. She's white trash. Of course she would say that. Absolutely disgusting from Brett. Like, and it's no wonder that they are both just so delusional and just cannot back down from anything or accept any kind of accountability.
That's a typical response from somebody who's so deeply rooted in white trash. I mean, she's disgusting.
I know.
So Taylor and Whitney both go on Jimmy Kimmel and they kind of make up again. Taylor and Whitney have kind of been like all over the place this season. Like in some moments they make up, in other moments they're, you know, not getting along, but they make up before Jimmy Kimmel and they're like, you know, this is such a crazy moment for our career. You know, this is so exciting and it's really sweet. And it's here that we really see Whitney decide that she no longer wants to see Mum Talk as a business. She does actually really miss the friendship and the sisterhood of Mum Talk. And I think this is really sweet. As I've said, I'm a Whitney stan. However, I do have to say that the timing is convenient because it's like all of a sudden after season 2, their celebrity has gotten even higher. This show has gotten even more famous. They are in the peaks of their careers. This group, Mum Talk, I'm going to say it again, highly lucrative. It is a money making machine. And all of a sudden Whitney's like, I miss the sisterhood. Like, babe, be for real, please. Anyway, I mean, I still love her. I still love her. So Taylor is, of course, during this whole thing, Taylor is still devastated. Like, she is still reeling from this news she found out about Dakota. She loves Dakota, but he keeps doing unforgivable things. So Taylor and her mum actually call the family friend. So I keep saying family friend because they blur out this person's name. They constantly blur out the name on the TV show. I think if you go online, you can find it. I'm not doing that. If you want to do that, whatevs. They call the family friend and the family friend like denies everything. Episode 10, the final episode. So Taylor's mum and dad are actually on her side for once. Because I mean, in season 2, we saw that Taylor's mum and dad were so nasty towards her and the whole Dakota situation. But they are on her side for once, which is definitely a wild change from previous seasons. Meanwhile, Demi is still playing the victim. She says that she feels ostracized from the group. Like, yeah, babe, actions equals consequences. Like, of course you're going to be ostracized. But Whitney basically falls into this full peacemaker mode. And Whitney, after having a strange change of heart, don't know what that could be from, Whitney has a change of heart. She wants to bring the group back together and basically like facilitate this kind of discussion between the women to bring Mum Talk back together. And she kind of teams up with Macy to do this. So her and Whitney organized to do this kind of facilitation between the women. So we also find out that Dakota is now refusing to film because he didn't want this whole story about him and the family friend to be on TV. And I'm just kind of like, awkward. Well, you shouldn't have told Jordan because Jordan just blurted it out while there were cameras in his car. But yeah, he has no interest in bringing this up on TV and claims that he wanted to handle it privately while being on a reality TV show. So I find that really rich. I just find Dakota to be very opportunistic. Like, he will come on the show and be in dad talk when it suits him, but then now when one of his actions can reflect poorly, he just doesn't want to be on the show at all. Jessi and Jordan's 90-day separation ends and Jordan decides that he wants to remain married to Jessi and they want to put the cheating behind them and they are going all in on repairing their marriage. And honestly, like, their marriage is their business. I'm just commenting on it because it's a TV show and I'm commentating on the TV show. I don't know why these two want to stay married. I'm like, do you guys like hate each other low key? Like, I'm very confused as to why they want to stay married, but that's their journey. That's their journey. And you know, they have children together as well. So, you know. So the mediation hosted by Whitney and Macy begins. And Demi actually, when Demi arrives at this whole mediation meeting that they're having, she actually pulls Taylor aside first to apologize separately to Taylor. And again, this is the thing that is so sus because prior to this, Demi had no interest in making up with the girls. Demi was like, fuck all of you. I'm in the right. You're all wrong. You're all snakes. I'm amazing. And then all of a sudden, season 2 airs. And Demi this whole time thought she was a fan favorite. She even said during season 2 that she's a fan favorite. Season 2 airs. Demi is hated. Demi is the villain. And now all of a sudden she wants to come crawling back to Mum Talk. She wants to make up with everyone. She wants back in on the money-making machine. I just find it all so convenient that Demi wants to come to this mediation. This timing is just so suspicious. Anyway, so Demi, of course, apologizes to Taylor because now that season 2's come out, Demi thought after season 2 that people would be on her side and be like, yeah, like Taylor's in the wrong, you're in the right, Demi, we're on your side. But they weren't. It was the opposite. Everyone was on Taylor's side after watching season 2 pretty much. And so now Demi is trying to suck back up to Taylor and get in Taylor's good books again. To me, it feels very fake and insincere, but whatever. So she apologizes for being harsh and kicking Taylor while she was down, but then immediately flips it back on herself and says, well, I was just really hurt by what you did to me. Like, I was just really hurt. So yeah, she apologizes, but it's just classic Demi to like then bring it and be like, but I only lashed out because I was hurt. Whatever. So then we have the mediation. And I will actually say the way that Whitney and Macy set this whole thing up was really sweet. Like they had this doll and basically you pass the doll around and when you have the doll, you're the one that talks because usually during these mum talk conversations, they all just scream at each other. It's not productive. So they have this doll that they pass around. So Whitney goes first and I actually, like I said, I'm a Whitney stan. And so when she goes first, I just thought she was really sweet and really sincere. And she apologizes for not attending Macy's baby mama event because Macy and Whitney used to be so close, and then that was really what caused a rupture in their relationship. She apologizes for not being there for Michaela. She apologizes for being in and out of the group. And again, because accountability is a term that they love to throw around, but I will say Whitney did take accountability. Go Whitney. Love her.
Macy, I am so sorry for not attending your baby mama event.
Then Macy goes and she apologizes for not being aware for people. It's short, sweet, self-aware. Jen says that last year was the hardest year of her whole life and admits that she's been playing the victim. And then Demi in her confessional literally goes that Jen owes her a personal apology. Oh, it's so rich, especially after the way that Demi treated Jen during season 2. Demi was genuinely horrific to Jen during season 2, and Demi sits in her confessional and says, yeah, she owes me an apology. Delusional. And she's claiming that Jen didn't take accountability. Demi loves that word. Demi's like, Jen's just not taking accountability. Demi, look in the mirror. Michaela also says that she's been projecting a lot. It's very emotionally honest. And then we get to Demi's apology. It feels completely shallow, completely surface level. She stands by her claim that Marciano sexually assaulted her. And Jen actually presses her and says, if he was dangerous, why did Demi send him inappropriate flirtatious messages? And why did she allow him to FaceTime her daughter? And Demi's response feels very cagey, but she does. And so, yeah, I don't know. They just don't really clarify. And she's like, well, I was a victim and you never know how you're going to act in that situation, like when you're a victim. And then she keeps trying to like compare herself to some of the other sexual assault survivors in the room, which just feels inappropriate. Demi does apologize to Jessi specifically, but again, it feels quite shallow, to be honest. It's then time for Taylor's baby blessing. So she's having a baby blessing for baby Enva. I believe this is like a Mormon thing. A baby blessing is a Mormon thing. And of course, like being part of the Mormon religion, the father has to give the blessing or something like that. And Dakota didn't give approval. Because of Mormon rules, Taylor can't give the blessing herself. So he's withholding this extremely important event to Taylor. Like this is a very important thing to Taylor, and he's essentially withholding that or lording that over her head just because he doesn't want to be on camera and he's upset that his dirty laundry is now on camera. So he's not going to do the baby blessing because of that. Demi shows up at the baby blessing all fresh after their little mediation situation. And in her confessional, she says that everyone took ownership except for Jen. She really has it out for Jen, ignoring the fact that she also didn't take real ownership at all. Meanwhile, Miranda's ex, Chase, and Taylor meet up. So this is where the season actually ends, and also a very random spot for the season to end on, to be honest. So Miranda's ex wants to apologize for Taylor because if we cast our minds back, Taylor and Chase had a situation going on during the whole swinging scandal. It was a whole drama, and he reveals that he actually broke up with his girlfriend just a couple days prior to meeting up with Taylor. So very suspicious timing of this conversation. And he tells Taylor that he had feelings for her. And then the finale of the season is Chase saying, should we kiss?
Should we kiss for old time's sake?
And that's the end of season 3. It's a cliffhanger of Chase and Taylor being like, should we kiss? Which also I'm like, I just don't care about Chase. Boring. But yeah, that's the end of season 3. I don't know if Mum Talk will survive this, guys. Anyway, so I really hope you enjoyed my deep dive and recap on season 3 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. I may do an episode recapping the reunion. Stay tuned. Otherwise, I will be back soon for another episode. Thank you so much for listening or watching. If you made it to the end, if you enjoyed this video, please do not forget to follow, subscribe, like, comment, and please tell me, who is your favorite person from Mum Talk? My favorite is Queen Whitney, but let me know down below who your favorite Mum Talk person is and what your favorite or most unhinged moment was from season 3. I'm so excited to talk about this one down in the comments. But yeah, thank you so much for listening and watching, and I'll be back with another deep dive very shortly. Thank you so much. Bye. Mwah.